The first part of the Boruto anime ends this summer as Naruto returns for its 20th anniversary. Michael B. Jordan announces a Creed anime and gives his beginner anime recommendations, and the beloved Frieren gets an anime adaptation with a stacked staff. I'm Israel King. Welcome to the Otaku Experience. Special thanks to Robert Meyer Burnett, all the great folks at the Burn Network, and of course you, our viewers, for making the Otaku Experience possible. Now, this has been a much slower news week than in weeks past, simply because the anime season that we're currently in, winter 2023, is starting to go down. We're ramping up to go into the next anime season, so there's been a lot of marketing for that, as well as preparing for the shows that we're currently watching. We say goodbye to, and on top of that, because the Anime Awards had just happened back to back over the past weekend, as well as the Oscars coming out this week in America, and Last of Us ending, there's really not been a lot of space for big anime stories to come out where they won't be swallowed and swamped by anything else. We have some decent sized stories in this, but if it's not too much, I didn't want to stretch this out with boring stories or stories that really mean nothing. So if that means that this is going to be a shorter episode than normal, I do apologize for that. But hopefully next week we should have, a good amount of stories to talk to then. But anyways, getting right into it, Boruto. The anime that everybody hates Studio Parrot for because it means that they sacrifice the animation on Black Clover to animate this anime. Now, I've never seen Boruto. I've heard the horror stories of Boruto about how it's just utter nonsense compared to the story that came before, and it's just destroyed the franchise and everybody kind of just left on it. Kind of how people view the sequel trilogy of Star Wars. Like if you're a super hater of the sequel trilogy, or how Rob views new Star Trek, that's how people view Boruto. They hate it. They despise it. They think it's the worst thing since Satan, right? And so Boruto The Next Generations has actually been airing for 6 years now, since 2017. And fun fact, I mean, not so fun depending on whether you like the show or not, but for the rest of us, fun fact that the Boruto anime is actually ending. That's right. It's going to be ending in March, on March 26th, which is a Sunday. And by then it will have aired 293 episodes nonstop for 6 years straight. That is insane if you think about it. Like the fact that in Hollywood, we can't get not anime seasons. We can't get seasons of TV longer than like 8 episodes. I think Andor was the most with like 12 episodes or something like that. And then we have to wait 2 years until another season. But then you look at Boruto and Studio Parrot, who were grinding their gears. And, we don't talk about the fact that they're abusing their animators and everybody involved is living in the most inhumane way possible. And the anime community and people much more educated than me have gone in and talked about those issues ad nauseum. The fact of the matter is they, for 6 years straight, weekly aired 293 episodes nonstop. I think, whether or not you like Boruto, I think we do need to commend and applaud Studio Parrot for their work in this. Could they have handled things better? Yes. Do they need to handle things better in the future? Yes. Do I hope that these animators finally get a break, get to see their family, get to see their daughter that was 6 when they started and now is almost a teenager? Yes, I hope that they get to see all of their loved ones that they have not seen for the past 6 years because they've been locked away in the Studio Parrot closet and they threw away the key. They're going to have to call in a construction team, saw down the door, and let them out because they're trapped in there. They don't know where the key is anymore. So, as I said, I've never seen Boruto. I've never seen Naruto either. Now, what we're about to talk about gives me incentive to actually go and check out Naruto this year. If you guys are new, if you have never seen the show before, I personally, it's very hard for me to watch anime that's not related to anime that's currently airing, because I cover so many anime seasonally on my main channel, King Tannic. You can go check that out. The winter 2023 seasonal review will probably be coming out here in about a month or so once the anime season ends and I have a chance to binge everything, write scripts, film, edit, etc. You know how that whole charade goes if you're a subscriber of my channel. But it's very hard for me to go back and watch something that is not related to anything that's airing. I've never seen Dragon Ball Z. Well, that's not necessarily true. I've seen a few episodes of Dragon Ball Z. I've never seen, or until September or October, September, somewhere around there last year, I had never seen Bleach. And then I watched all of Bleach over the fall season last year in order to catch up for Thousand Year Blood War, because I knew that that was going to be one of the biggest shows that aired in 2022, and I wanted to be there to cover it. And the same thing with this. So, as Boruto ends, if you're a big Naruto-tan, you don't need to be all that sad if you were still enjoying Boruto, because it turns out Naruto is coming back. That's right, Naruto will return with 4 new episodes in September as part of the 20th anniversary. Now, it's not like this is going to be the end of Boruto or anything like that. Boruto, the second part of Boruto, they've decided to call this Boruto Part 1 that's currently airing, and that will end in March. They're calling the second part of Boruto, that has been greenlit and is now in pre-production, and that will probably start sometime, I'm assuming late next year, or maybe early 2025, somewhere around there. Give them a little break, and then they'll get back to releasing Boruto weekly. They're gonna give their animators and their staff a year off, and then they'll be like, all right, get back in here for another 6 years. Oh man, our thoughts and prayers are with you, all of you studio parrot workers. But yes, Naruto is actually coming back with 4 brand new episodes of the Naruto anime. Now, this is very interesting. I looked into it, and I can't find out if I looked into many articles and everything like that, and I can't find whether these are going to be anime original episodes, or if these are if there were new chapters of the manga or whatever that weren't adapted, or maybe these are side stories that are whatever. Usually the term that was used were brand new episodes. So I'm assuming that that means not seen by anyone. These are anime original, you know, taking place after everything that's happened, catching up with your favorite characters. Now, as someone who's never seen Naruto or Boruto, I've heard, I could be wrong about this, but from what I've heard, I think Naruto shows up in Boruto simply to save the show because the ratings were plummeting downhill. But I think that this is very interesting if my theory is true, and that this is going to be kind of like what a lot of Harry Potter fans want that to be, of going back and seeing and catching up to the characters all these years later, where this might be the case with all of those Naruto characters, and seeing that main cast so many years later. Or an even better analogy to keep it in the anime family, what they did with Beyblade and Shogun Steel, where you went and saw Jinga, 20 years later, and he's now like this, freaking, he's like a, what do you call him? He's like a Bigfoot. He's like a unicorn. He's like a mythical creature. You see him and then he's gone. And then like he'll show up and like destroy you in a battle and cause like a tsunami with his Beyblade. And then he'll leave. It'll go. But anyways, leading up to the Naruto returning, leading up to the return of Naruto for its 20th anniversary, select episodes of Naruto will rerun starting in Japan in July, leading up through September. So for those 2 to 3 months leading up to those 4 new episodes. On top of that, Studio Parrot has also begun the marketing for the 20th anniversary of Naruto with a 10-minute video named Road of Naruto that condenses all 20 years of anime's history, as well as 3 new visuals. What they've done is they've taken, it seems like it's new animation. They've reanimated the big major beats and put that all together in 10 minutes. And I'm like, bro, there are so many hundreds of episodes and so many hours. Are they only keeping the mandatory bits, or is it filler as well? But either way, they've taken things from Naruto Shippuden. I believe even some of the movies. I could be wrong about that, so if you know better, please correct me. Leading in a 10-minute video leading up to the new anime as well. And it seems like, because the past like 4 years they've been doing this whole Sword Art Online 10th anniversary thing. It was like, make up your mind. But what it really was it was like the light novel anniversary, and then it became the anime anniversary, and they were like right on top of each other. But we kind of celebrated it, if you're in the SAO fandom, for like 4 years straight, and they're still celebrating it right now. So is this actually the 20th year since Naruto aired, or is this going to be like a 4-year thing, like with Sword Art Online? But anywho, that's that. Now let's go into the next story of the day, and that is, or of the week, and that is Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan has directed Creed 3. Now, I personally I have not seen Creed 3 just yet. I really want to. I just haven't had time to go out and see it yet. His directing, Michael B. Jordan is directing this film. He's taken over and directing it himself as well as starring in it. His directing looks great. I know he's taken a lot of anime influence in that, and we'll talk about that as well. But everything from what I'm seeing from Jonathan Majors and Michael B. Jordan, it looks like all the performances are great, along with Tessa Thompson. As long as what I was saying with before, the cinematography, and then obviously the fights are great, which is where a lot of the anime inspiration comes out. And Michael B. Jordan said in a quote, there are artistic choices that were influenced by my passion for anime that we brought into boxing and training sequences. Jordan said, with boxing like Hajime no Ippo, I really love the inner dialogue of what's going on and happening in the ring from the characters. So he's talking about specifically like in boxing anime, like in Hajime no Ippo, or like he mentions later in My Hero Academia, or a show that wasn't all that great but had really great fight sequences, The God of High School, where they'll like in the middle of a punch, they'll either stop or it'll go in really slow motion. And then the character will have this whole monologue breaking down like what the character's doing with their swing, what's going on with all the muscles. Oh my gosh, she like bruised me. This is going to cause, all this over the top anime fighting internal monologue stuff that he really, really liked and really brought, really gave him this passion to do and to influence into some of his work. Now, personally, as someone who has not seen Creed 3 yet, I cannot, say whether that is in the new movie or not. I don't know if he's added that there or if this is going to be in the new anime that they're developing for Creed. And they're not just developing an anime in the Creed universe. They're actually doing many spinoffs. They're doing a Creed universe, stuff that takes place on TV, on the big screen, television series, as well as television movies, or maybe television movies, as well as anime and animation, traditional and Western style. And then another quote from Michael B. Jordan, he said, without nerding out too much, you've seen so many fights throughout the Rocky and Creed franchise, and I really wanted to put my spin on it, Jordan said, all of those different anime that I watched growing up, there's an inherent spirit to them and how they fight and their bonds and relationships and all that good stuff. But it's very similar to the brotherhood and bond that we, Adonis Creed and Damian Anderson, have in his Adonis Creed relationship to his family as well. So I tried to key in on some of those moments. And so he's basically doing what anime fans love so much about anime, in the sense that at times it can be so over the top, but it's all in pursuit of the emotion. And it seems like that's what he's taken away, is he's doing this to enhance the emotional core of the stories. And to me, this is what I want. This sounds really, really exciting to me. And him saying this, really, I need to go step out and see Creed 3, like right now. Let me book my ticket real quick, This makes me so excited, and this puts so much faith and trust, especially seeing the critic and audience response to Creed 3. It puts so much faith and trust in Michael B. Jordan's ability to kind of helm a universe out of that, in which case you will have anime. Now, I'm sure he won't be directing the anime. He'll hire directors and he'll hire writers and he'll hire animators, but he'll like Star Wars Visions, like give it 2 different studios. But I think with his knowledge and how he's talking, he sounds very intelligent. He sounds like he knows what he's talking about when it comes to anime fight scenes and things like that, that it seems like he is going to be very smart in which studio he chooses. And it seems like he's going to make a bunch of right decisions that we as anime fans should be very, very excited for. On top of that, Michael B. Jordan also gave his quote unquote beginner anime recommendations that he would recommend to people who want to get into anime, starting with One Piece, Dragon Ball, Naruto, Bleach, and Hunter x Hunter. Now, people have been ripping Michael B. Jordan up for this. Like, everybody applauded him for everything he said about, anime influence and things like that into the Creed universe and making an anime adaptation, whatever. When it came to this, everybody turned on him so fast. If you're subscribed to Joey Bazinger, otherwise known as the Anime Man, he talked about this. And the biggest criticism, which I tend to agree with, is that this is not a great list to, I think, and I don't blame Michael B. Jordan at all, but I think that in the heat of the moment, when he's in an interview and he's talking about some of his anime that he got into, and he's recommending anime, some of the best he's seen, what he ended up accidentally doing is recommending that people watch over 2,000 episodes of anime in order to get into anime. You can see how that might be a daunting experience, and how that might be pushing away people from getting into the anime fold, unless you're a super diehard person who really wants to get into it. Personally, I would just pick one of these shows. I personally would not pick One Piece as your first show, simply because it is so long. Most people, we usually start with just one show. They'll watch and finish it. Then they'll go to another show. They'll watch and finish it. Then maybe they'll watch, a couple shows. Then they'll build up to more shows. And then, after a certain point, they're watching seasonally, where they're watching so many anime in one season. That's kind of how it happened with me. But with this, if you do this, and you're not in the position where you're binging or you're skipping filler episodes or anything like that, if you're just watching every episode there is, you're going to be watching anime for a very long time. If you're, like, say, not a high school guy or a high school student or whatever, and you have a job and school and a family, whatever, like a lot of us do, that is a lot of time that you are taking away that could be spent on other things that are very important to you. Now, that's not me saying, hey, just don't watch anime, because obviously I watch a lot of anime, but I cover anime, and I think that there's a difference between watching maybe 2 to 3 to 4 20-minute episodes a day when you're just watching them seasonally, because if they're 20 minutes, that adds up to, maybe if you're watching 3 episodes an hour, if you're watching more, it's like an hour, 20 minutes. Usually the amount of time people, or less than the amount of time people will spend on Netflix a day. That's usually how I end up doing things. But when you're watching so many episodes and it's like, man, I'm just getting into it. Like, is every anime like this? No, every anime is not like this. These are the rare cases that these big shonens are very, very long and have multiple franchises. Like Naruto has 2 shows. Dragon Ball has Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super. And I want to say there's another one. I could be wrong. I haven't seen Dragon Ball, like I said before. And Hunter x Hunter isn't over. That's still going. One Piece is well into the thousands. That's not over yet. And if you're counting Boruto, that's another almost 300 episodes you're adding on top of Naruto as well. That is a lot to cover. Now, as someone who has only seen one of these shows, but who knows a bit about the other shows and who has read a little bit of One Piece, who has seen some of the fights from Naruto, who has heard recommendations of Hunter x Hunter, and who has seen not a few in the sense that I've seen like a good amount of episodes, but a few as in like I've seen like probably 3 or 4 episodes of Dragon Ball. I think that these are all, if you're going to pick one, I think that these are all decent anime to start off with. I think if you're going to start with Bleach, that's great. Use a filter list and cut through all the filler. Do the same thing with Naruto if you're going to do that. Do the same thing with Dragon Ball. Do the same thing with Hunter x Hunter, but pick one. And then I would say try a different style of show. Because the thing about all these are all the biggest shonen you can possibly shonen. While that can be great, it's 2,000 episodes of the exact same genre of things. I believe, look, people are talking about how the MCU is so long. This trounces over the MCU, bro. The MCU is like 2 hours, maybe 220 on average per movie. That is about 6 episodes of anime. And we're talking about 2,000. So we're doing 6 times 30 for the MCU, which is 180 hours. And then we're talking about 2,000 episodes of anime at 20 minutes. I'm not even going to attempt to try to do the mental math on that. While I look it up, we'll chat about that. But listen, I don't want it to seem like I'm like dogging on Michael B. Jordan for this. Obviously, like I said before, it was a little disclaimer. It's 40,000 hours, by the way. Obviously, I don't want to, try to insult the guy or anything like that. He clearly, like I said before, was in the heat of the moment, just spitting off some anime that came to his thing and said, hey, these are the anime I got into anime with. These are the anime I think that people would like if they tried to get into anime. I don't think he's recommending all 5 of these shows, but we're just going into the semantics of if he did that and how this might deter people from going into the anime fold. If the goal is to say, hey, watch 2,000 episodes and then your foot's in the door. Like I think that's doing more harm than it is good. I understand what he's trying to say. Obviously, we're not going to put a bunch of heat on him like other people did, where they were like, Michael B. Jordan, yeah, how dare you, you idiot. Like, we're not going to do that here. But I just thought it was kind of funny how he's inadvertently recommended 2,000 episodes 40,000 hours to get your foot in the door. I just think it's kind of funny. So, on top of that, the beloved manga series called Frieren is getting an anime adaptation that was announced sometime last year, I believe in the fall last year. And I've actually gotten recommended that before by someone. I was speaking with someone, not like a friend or anything, someone I met, I bumped into. We were talking about anime, and I was like, hey, I'm trying to get into manga. What are some of your recommendations? And his first recommendation and his biggest recommendation was Frieren. At the time, the anime adaptation was not announced yet. He just loved it. This manga has been very critically and audience acclaimed. It has been getting awards. It has been nominated for things in the manga sphere. And it has been doing very well. So if you don't know what Frieren is, Viz Media has licensed the manga. And I believe the anime as well, maybe not. And this is how they define or describe the anime. Here's their synopsis. Elf mage Frieren and her courageous fellow adventurers have defeated the Demon King and brought peace to the land. With the great struggle over, they all go their separate ways to live a quiet life. But as an elf, Frieren, nearly immortal, will long outlive the rest of her former party. How will she come to terms with the mortality of her friends? How can she find fulfillment in her own life? And can she learn to understand what life means to the humans around her? Frieren begins a new journey to find the answer. Now, to me, I really like that. I never had a chance to read the manga like the guy said, but with what we're about to get into about who's attached, the synopsis, and that there is an anime adaptation coming out, I'm very tempted to read this manga as well. But to me, that synopsis sounds very profound. The story of a girl who will live basically forever, unless she's killed, as elves do. She'll live for thousands, millions of years. She'll just keep going until she's killed off. But her friends have a very finite lifespan. And she has to come with the fact that her friends will only be alive for a fraction of her life. And she has to deal with that and come to grips with that. And understand, like it says, what life means to the humans around her. When to her, life is as long as you want it to be unless you're killed. When it comes to humans, we have only so much time. And so humans, usually, we try to make the best of the time that we have. And I think that this anime is going to be very profound and hopefully very, very exciting. Now, it's not just the fact that the story is amazing or sounds amazing that I'm excited for this. On top of that, Studio Madhouse is animating and helming the production. So Studio Madhouse, if you didn't know, they're the animators of Death Note, One Punch Man, No Game, No Life, Parasite, Overlord, just to name a few of their biggest projects. Obviously, this is a very, very involved studio, a studio that definitely knows what they're doing, has cut their teeth on quite a few different projects, who is very, what is the word I'm thinking of? I keep dancing around it, but I'm getting upset about that. Who is very well involved, I guess. I don't know. We're going to move on. Involved in the anime industry and has clearly made their mark with some of the most popular anime of all time. And that as well gives me great confidence. Keiichiro Saito is directing the project. Now, if you don't know what Keiichiro Saito has done, two of his most recent things and two of my favorite things that he's done is Bocchi the Rock, which just won Anime of the Year at the Anime Trending Awards, and Wonder Egg Priority, which was my personal Anime of the Year of 2021, the year that came out. And I thought that Wonder Egg Priority was by far leagues and ahead better than any other show that came out that year. Well, maybe Fruits Basket, the final season, was right underneath it, but everything else, like a good ways below that. Still great stuff that year, but a ways below those two, which I thought were just excellent. And Wonder Egg Priority took the lead for me. Bocchi the Rock, like I said, basically swept the Annie Trends Awards. It was one of my favorite shows of the year. I believe it was in my top 5, maybe top 6. Both very great shows. I think he definitely knows his eye for shots. He knows how to make shots look very full, look very good, where there's a lot going on. The shots are lively, but they're not too busy to where you can't see what's going on. He obviously did this in One Direct Priority when there's demons and little things running around after these girls, and the backgrounds are lively and colorful, but there's not too much going on. He did this in Bocchi the Rock when all the girls are on stage together or in their room, in their studio rehearsing, and they're, all of them are bouncing around on the screen at once. There's a lot going on, but he's made it so it's very easy to follow, and that's just animation wise. On top of that, he clearly does these ensembles very, very well, and both of these ensembles, might I point out, are all girl ensembles. One Direct Priority had a cast of all girls. Bocchi the Rock had a cast of all girls. He clearly knows what he's doing, and that makes me very, very excited that not only is this anime synopsis very profound and has me very excited, but Studio Madhouse is helming the project. They were interested in it. That Keiichiro Saito was interested in directing it and is going to be helming the project. And on top of that, we have Tomohiro Suzuki, who did the script composition for Aka or Asa, I forget how you pronounce that, ACCA, One Punch Man, etc. And he's going to be doing the series composition, or in other words, scripting the series. Basically, since anime adaptations are so close, they don't even call it writing anymore. He's series compositioning the series. He's basically just taking the manga script and formatting that into episodes and things like that. But he's clearly done a great job from things like One Punch Man, as we said before, which also makes me excited, which shows that he also has a good relationship with Madhouse, so people are very comfortable with each other. That's great. On top of that, we have Atsumi Tanizaki, who has obviously done a lot of great work as a voice actress, but most recently just won winner of the Best Voice Actress for her role as Anya this past anime season. And she's going to be voicing the titular heroine, Frieren. And that has me, once again, very, very excited that we have a capable script compositioner. We have a very capable voice actress. We have a very capable director. We have a very capable studio that's telling what seems to me could be a very profound story. And then on top of that, we have Reiko Nagasawa, who is the character designer from things like Tactile P. Destiny, which I thought had very interesting character designs, and Evan Call, who did the music on things like Violet Evergarden, great soundtrack there as well, and more people who are just more stacked people in this staff. The anime is going to premiere in the fall of 2023. And they released a little trailer promo as well, along with this announcement of everybody who's involved. And I gotta say, I'm not the one to usually predict this type of stuff. I usually talk about what anime I'm most anticipated for, or what movies I'm most anticipated for, or TV shows I'm most anticipated for throughout a year. I rarely ever predict what I think is going to be my favorite thing of the year. Just from everything I'm reading about this and everything that's so involved, you know me, at this point in the show, doing this 7 weeks now, I never talk about anime announcements. I rarely do. Unless they're like a super big franchise thing, simply because oftentimes there's not really much to say. Oh, hey, new anime studio, or not a new anime studio, but new anime coming out from this studio, this director, XXXXX, whatever. And I'm sure it'll be fine. This, along seeing the animation, this I believe is going to be my favorite anime of the year. And I would say I don't have anything to back that up, but that's not true. Everything I just went through, from the premise of the show, or of the story, to the studio, to the director, to the script compositioner, that's so funny, to the actress, the main lead, to the character designer, the composer, and more. I think everything would have to go so wrong in order for this to be bad, but I think everything going into this sounds like it is just a hitter on every level, and I'll make a prediction. I think this is going to be my favorite show of the year. And if not, I think it's going to be in my top 5 shows of the year. And you want me to make an even bigger prediction, bro? Get ready. I think that this has a chance. I'm about to get so out of pocket. I think that this has a chance at maybe, quite possibly, being a very, very heavy contender at the next Annie Trends Awards. It won't be eligible for the Crunchyroll Awards as long as they keep their, policies the way they have them, where fall anime are excluded. I'm hoping that they change that this next year. But if that's the case at the entrance, I think this will definitely be a major contender in those as well. So not only is that the new anime that was announced, but we have another anime that was announced as well. And that's because on Sunday, To Your Eternity Season 2 finally ended. Not finally isn't like it's a bad thing. I haven't caught up on the second core yet. I've been waiting for it to end so I can binge it all at once because the story is so pulpy. I want to be there all at the same time. Anyways, but now that has ended, they have officially announced what we all knew was going to be the case, that we are going to be getting a To Your Eternity Season 3. Obviously, this was a given. Duh. Of course. Why would we not get a Season 3 of To Your Eternity? It's been a great hit for them. Not the second season definitely wasn't as big, or in my opinion, as good as the first season. But it definitely kept a good audience going for it. It kept good reviews. Everything was still solid. It just kind of dropped off from that first, like, caught the anime community by storm first season. But it's still performing very well. And so, yeah, we're getting a season 3. Everybody involved is the exact same as before. There's not really a lot of news about that. Just the fact that, hey, you're getting it, chill out. And I would assume, like with season 2 coming after season 1, I would assume we're probably going to be getting it sometime. I wouldn't even say this year, simply because core 2 just ended. If we do get it this year, it'll be in fall. But I believe we'll probably get it sometime in the summer of next year. So in the 2024 summer season. At the earliest fall of this year. That's sort of my ballpark of where I'm at. On top of that, we had a new anime get announced, or not get announced, but announced what service it was going to be on, and that is My Happy Marriage. This is a new rom-com anime that a lot of people seem to be very excited about. Me personally, I don't know much about it. So, but everybody was raving about the trailer. As you know, I don't really watch anime trailers because I don't think they do a great job of trying to sell you on something. So if a premise doesn't sell me like the premise of Frieren did, I wouldn't have watched that trailer. But since I was already sold on it, that trailer just made me go, ooh, now I know it looks pretty, you know? Whereas, you know, a lot of other anime, I'm like with Chainsaw Man, you know, the premise, I was only excited for that show out of the premise. I thought the trailer looked terrible, but it looked nice. Like the animation looked very pretty. It looked nice, and then it turned out to be the case. Now, with this show, obviously, I have not read a synopsis. I don't know anything about it. I just know that everybody's super excited about it, and that's going to be one of those big heavy hitter shows for the. I believe the next season is coming out. And so this is going to be streaming on, wait for it, Netflix. You know what that means? It means we're not going to cover it. So for those of you guys that don't know, if something releases weekly on Netflix, you have your oddball that releases all in one go, like Cyberpunk Edgerunners did last year. Obviously, masterfully, it won Anime of the Year at the Crunchyroll Anime Awards. But in a case like with Komi Can't Communicate or Blue Period in 2021, releasing weekly on Netflix, and like we're seeing right now with Isekai Uncle or Uncle from Another World, depending on which translation you see. We basically call this Netflix hell, Netflix jail, depending on how PG your channel is. And what this means is that anime on Netflix, if it airs weekly, it means that it airs in Japan when it's supposed to. We get it 2 to 3 weeks later over here. And unless you're someone who wants to break the law and go and torrent it, you're going to be waiting weeks behind to see what's going on. Now, luckily, this isn't like, you know, Attack on Titan or anything like that, where there are massive spoilers that could be dropped within that time frame. Luckily, this is just a rom-com. Now, that's not to say that there aren't going to be, like, we're on the edge of our seats. Who knows? Maybe Friren's going to be bad, and this could end up being my anime of the year. Who knows? I don't know. But what I do know is that it is going to be, it's just going to be terrible. For the ratings, nobody's going to watch it. It's going to be terrible for the piracy. This happened with Summertime Render last year. The piracy skyrocketed simply because it was on Disney Plus outside of the US, and they did not want to put it on anything for you to watch legally in the US, and so you had to watch it illegally up until, like, I think December. And then they were like, hey, suddenly, guys, it's on Hulu. You can watch it now. And everybody was like, we already watched it because it aired over the summer. This is a spoiler show where things can get spoiled for us, and we all wanted to watch it, and you didn't give us the option to watch it, so we all torrented it. And I'm scared that might be the case with this. Obviously, regardless of the quality of the show, I don't think that I don't think that torrenting or pirating any anime is good for anything. But that's going to be airing on Netflix as it does. Anywho, we're gonna get into the anime charts. Wow, I'm lagging today. The anime charts of the fall or the winter 2023 anime season. Starting with number 1, it bumped up 4 spots. We have Vinland Saga Season 2 from Studio Mappa. Staying in second place for second week in a row is The Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten from Project Number 9, which I need to watch that new episode. I've heard that it is amazing. Going down 2 spots as the Vinland Saga episode went up 4 is The Magical Revolution from Diomedia. Staying at number 4 is Tomo-chan as a Girl from Les Douces. Going up to number 5, again, it keeps going up. Wow, I really am going to have to watch this show. Is Onimai, I'm Now Your Sister from Studio Bind. Going up 2 spots to number 6 is The Ice Guy and His Cool Female Colleague from Zero's Glibber? I don't know how you pronounce that. Going up 3 spots to number 7 is Nier Automata version 1.1a from A1 Pictures. Staying at number 8 for 2 weeks now is Blue Lock. Going down to number 8 is Isn't Wrong to Pick Up a Girl, Girls in a Dungeon, Season 4, Part 2 from JC Staff. Popping into the top 10 for the first time. At number 9 is Bofuri Season 2 from Silver Link. At number 10, which is a repeat, but you know, stayed going up, is Bungo Stray Dogs Season 4. Going down to number 11 is My Hero Academia Season 6. Going down to number 11 as well, down 2 spots, is Nagatoro Season 2, which I'm surprised. You know, I keep saying this every week, but Nagatoro Season 1 was such a hit. I personally didn't like the show, but it was such a hit. I'm surprised at how low the ratings for this second season, in terms of audience reviews and in terms of people who are watching it, how low they've been for the second season. It could have been like, even if you did like it, you're just like, hey, there's only so much of this, you know, creative things you can do with the same bit that happens in every single episode. So maybe people just assumed maybe people will binge it or something. I don't know. But I think that's very, very interesting. And I'd like to see why that's the case. Going up to number 12, 1 spot, is Campfire Cooking in Another World from Mappa. Going up 3 spots to number 13 is Reborn to Master the Blade from Studio Comet. Popping into the top 14 for the first time is Spy Classroom from Feel. And staying at number 15 is Farming Life in Another World from Zero G. Now, I figure since it's a slow news week, we'll include the other charts that happened this week. And that would include male characters, female characters, couple ships, and let's just see what's going on here. So, staying at number 1 is Fujimiya Amane from The Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten. I love this guy. He's awesome. Going up 3 spots to number 2 is 9S from Nier Automata version 1.1a. Going up 1 spot to number 3 is Crenelle Bell Is Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon 4 Part 2. Going up 2 spots to number 4 is Kubota Junichiro from Tomo-chan as a Girl. Going up 2 spots to number 5 is Himuro, the Ice Guy and His Cool Female Colleague. Going up 3 spots to number 6 is Thorfinn Vinland Saga Season 2. It seems like Vinland Saga really killed it with whatever this last episode was. I really need to catch up. Going up 1 spot to number 7 is Senpai Paizen from Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro's Second Attack. Going up 2 spots to number 8 is Akazawa Itsuki, The Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten. Popping in for the first time to the top 9 is Chelfin Shao, Sugar Apple Fairy Tale, which I've never heard of, I don't think. And then a repeat at number 10 is Isagi Yoichi from Blue Lock. And then a new person to pop into the top 10 is Saito from Handyman Saito in Another World. Going over to the female charts, we have at number 1, going up 1 spot, is Win Palesia Anisphia from The Magical Revolution. Going down to number 2 after Win took number 1 is Shina Mahiro from The Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten. Going up 1 spot to number 3 is Fuyutsuki from The Ice Guy and His Cool Female Colleague. Going down 1 spot to number 4 is Gundo Mizusu, Tomo-chan is a Girl. Going up 1 spot to number 5 is Magenta Euphilia from Magical Revolution. Going up 1 spot to number 6 is Unasaki Miri. Going down 2 spots to number 7 is Aizawa Tomo from Tomo-chan is a Girl. Going up 2 spots to number 8 is 2B from Nier Automata version 1.1a. Going down 1 spot to number 9 is Olston Carol from Tomo-chan is a Girl. I'm surprised how low Carol is. You know, I thought so many people would have loved Carol, but I guess maybe it's split because I've heard almost as much criticism for how much people love her with people who hate her. So maybe, you know, there's a bunch of like number 1 rated and then there's a bunch of like number 10 rated and then she like got like put in the middle. I don't know. And then popping into the top 10 for the first time is Leon Ryu from Isn't Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon, season 4, part 2. Going over to the couple ships. These are people who, whether they're a couple or not, these are the people that the anime fandom wants to see get together. And so at number 1, we have a Yuri couple, Anisphia and Euphilia from the Magical Revolution. That give them also the award for hardest couple name to pronounce. Going up 2 spots to number 2 is Himuro and Fuyutsuki from the Ice Guy and His Cool Female Colleague. Going down 2 spots to number 3 is Amane and Mahiru, The Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten. I would have thought they would have been higher. I mean, I know they're in the top 3. Oh no, I thought they would have been higher than being in the top 3, but I really thought they would have been at like the top spot. It might be because, and I haven't seen this latest episode yet, it might be because their relationship has gotten almost a little stagnant in the past few episodes, and we're just kind of waiting on that final, waiting for the ball to drop, basically. It's almost there, but it hasn't just yet. They're going to make us wait till episode 12. Popping in to the top 5 for the first time is NS and 2B from Nier Automata version 1.1a. Popping into the top 5 for the first time is Ilya and Lainey from the Magical Revolution. Going down 3 spots to number 6 is Junichiro and Tomo from Tomo-chan is a Girl. Going down 2 spots to number 7 is Senpai and Hayase from Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro Second Attack. I didn't know she had a first name. I thought her name was just Nagatoro. The more you know, the more you learn. At number 8, staying at number 8 is Xiaofan Xiao and Anne from Sugar Apple Fairy Tale. I'm going to have to look into what that is because I do not recognize that at all. Going up 1 spot to number 9 is Kosuke and Carol from Tomo-chan is a Girl. Going down 4 spots to number 10 is Itsuki and Chisote from The Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten. So those are your anime rankings for the week. A lot of holds, a lot of changes. Things have been very, very interesting. Now, as we go down to the end of this really short episode of the Otaku Experience, we're going to be looking at your commenter questions that you left on the last week's episode. If you want to get a commenter question on the Otaku Experience for me to read, all you have to do is go down to that comment section right there, leave a thought, theory, comment, question, whatever, and I will read it in the next episode. All right, so we have 3 comments this week, starting with the gist from Jared. I'm going to definitely add Cyberpunk to the queue now. Good. You should. Obviously, as I've said before, I had my fair share of criticisms about Cyberpunk Edgerunners. It just won Anime of the Year at the Crunchyroll Anime Awards. I had my fair share of criticisms, especially about that second half. I personally, like I've said many times, I blame Netflix. I think they gave the writers too little episodes to do that. It to me it feels like, and this is probably the story I'm going to stick with because it feels the most accurate to me of what that show felt like. It feels like they originally had 12 to 13 episodes plotted out and written, ready to go, and they started animating, and they animated the first 4, and then Netflix was like, hey, you know those last 6 episodes that you were going to animate, or those last, that's not right. Those last 8 episodes you were going to animate. Yeah, we're compressing that down into 4 episodes. Godspeed. And then, they were like, oh, what? And then they had to basically compress everything, and everything to me just felt rushed after that time skip. But a lot of people are loving it. Obviously, it was just voted Anime of the Year by the fans in the Crunchyroll Anime Awards. Then we had Masood Khan, who said, great episode. Thank you very much for that. We're trying out different styles. We're trying to find out what the the tone and what the blood and what the DNA of the otaku experience is. And so I appreciate that. Any criticism, about and things you think could make the show better from anybody, I'm down to hear it. Mark Dorsey said, I want to join you on this anime chat. You can join me down in the comment section, man. Come on. This is you joining me. Give me your thoughts. Send me a paragraph and I'll read it. Obviously, we have not been taking live guests or co-hosts or anything like that just yet, because obviously for the first bit, I really want to get what the tone and what like I said, the DNA of what the show is going to be without all of those things. And so if we were to come straight out of the gate with with an interview from Chris Carr and having Rob as a guest and having Taylor Gonzalez on and having all of you guys on as guests and having the people who have reached out to me who work in the industry as guests, suddenly it would become less eventful if it's just me on the show. Whereas I want this show to kind of not necessarily be defined by me. I mean, it's my show. It's my DNA. It's all about me, if we're being honest. Anyways, I'm just kidding, guys. I'm very tired, if you can tell. But I want the show to kind of become what it is and have those moments become special occasions rather than those becoming the norm. And then when it's me, it's less exciting and it's boring or anything like that. And it's uneventful. I want this to kind of be like, hey, let's go watch another Otaku Experience episode because Israel King is hosting it and he's a great host and we love what he covers and his thought process and everything and how biased he is against, or towards Sword Art Online, But instead of just being like, hey, I wonder what cool guest we know this week is going to pop on. Not to knock any shows that do that, obviously, like talk shows and things like that do those things. But at the same time, those shows are so inherently, they already have their DNA going that those new guests fit directly into those shows. Whereas with me, we're still trying to figure that out. Give us like 10 to 15 weeks. We're already at week 7, so like 8 more weeks to kind of figure out what exactly we're doing here. And guys, that's going to do it for this episode of the Otaku Experience. Like I said many times throughout this video, I'm very sorry about the shorter episode this week. There just wasn't a lot of news. Hopefully next week, we start getting some bigger news, some bigger things going on. Everything's starting to slow down, so maybe we won't get big news. And let me know what you guys think. Should we, give me your opinion, if there's not much news going on in a week, would you rather me still try to, like I kind of did with this show? I mean, there were decent stories, like the Boruto story was decent, the Creed story was decent, the Frieren story was decent, but where I kind of try to string together a bunch of smaller stories in order to still do a show? Or would you rather just have me not do a show that week at all and maybe do something else? Or maybe do like a special, like, hey, the Otaku Experience presents, Israel does some random thing regarding anime. Maybe Israel does a deep dive into Bleach, his deep thoughts into Bleach because he wasn't there when the anime aired live and he had to catch up for Thousand Year Blood War or something like that. Let me know what you guys think about all those things in the comment section down below. Once again, thank you to Robert Meyer Burnett, all the great folks at the Burnett Network, and of course you, our viewers, for making the Otaku Experience possible. I'm Israel King. This has been the Otaku Experience, and I'll see you guys next week.